All right. Hey, hey. Welcome back, Geminis. All right. So let's go ahead and jump on in. We're going to take a little peek at whatever might be coming back around during this retrograde season. So I always kind of look at Mercury retrograde as just an opportunity to readdress things. Of course, Mercury's not going in the reverse. It just said it moves faster than Earth does on its orbit. So it laps us. So the same way, if you look at a clock, the hands of the clock are never going in the reverse, but at some point it kind of looks like it is. But again, anytime we talk about an orbit, we talk about, cycling something, passing something by, we're also showing like passage of time. And with that, oftentimes comes like, we're a little older, we're a little wiser because some time has passed. So what might be popping back up during this Mercury retrograde, what might be coming back around, and how we see it differently? Hi, everyone. So great to see you all. We have a Six of Swords. Okay, so something that once upon a time was quite chaotic or troublesome, particularly in a relationship, especially a long-term relationship, could actually be moved beyond. So the relationship could stay intact and could even deepen. And the problem could be seen in a different light now. Look, swans mate for life. And although we see two people could have been playing a bit of a chess game, this is like moving into calmer waters. So if something is coming back up right now, it may be that it's like, I can see this in a different light now. I can see a way through this. We do have a King of Wands sideways. Look, I'm going to go ahead and say this. If Gemini dealt with somebody who, let's say they are represented by the King of Wands. Let's say they typically have a very warm heart. They could be a Leo, Sag, or Aries. Doesn't have to be. They could be a masculine. Does not have to be. But let's say there was like, oh man, I think that person is pretty arrogant. They really bugged me with something that they did. Sometimes we can actually see someone's behavior in a slightly different manner. We thought somebody was high-handed or overbearing, and then over time we go, they were trying to show that they cared. Maybe it came out a little bit wrong, but I understand it a little differently now. It feels like there was some conflict where there was pushback, and there was even like the assumption or, accusation that somebody was like, step off, you're being too much, you're being too bossy, you're being a little arrogant. And I think now it might be like, well, they do have a little arrogance, but you know what? That's a two-sided sword. We have to have a certain amount of arrogance and pride. Otherwise, we will get pushed around by absolutely anything. If you don't ever believe that you're right and stand for something, then you could become a doormat. The other side of that coin or sword, of course, is that we can be too pushy and always think that we know the right answer. Sometimes it can be a little bit overbearing. But working with that energy and saying, okay, there's pros and cons to every personality. It almost feels like an issue could be smoothed out. We do have the Eight of Cups. I don't know, there's something between being more independent or dealing with somebody who is, nobody is perfect, right? Nobody is perfect. But looking at things, and even here, we can see two faces to this. Gemini might be saying, okay, I am headstrong, I too am independent. So maybe I can figure out a way to like either maintain some kind of independence and still deal with somebody that I actually care a great deal about. I have my own streak of stubbornness. Maybe they do too. This really feels like there's this, like maybe a kind of like a really meaningful connection, because this is a long-term connection. This is still somebody that I want to deal with. But we do have to iron out some of our differences. And to iron out our differences might mean to acknowledge that we're never going to be exactly the same. And so now it becomes, let us accept where the differences are. Let us even find a way to revel in it. Because I kind of think that the same stuff that could drive Gemini crazy about this person could also be the same thing that drives them good crazy about this person, and vice versa. Six of Wands. Look, there is pride and arrogance. And there's also like, I'm almost getting this picture that like Gemini over time has realized, you know what? Oh, that's my person. And then they go, oh, that's my person. Like sometimes we realize that the same stuff that drives us bananas is also something that is very sexy about the person that we love, applied in the right time, in the right moment. If Gemini tends to be ferociously independent. That could be like, could you please be a little bit less, headstrong? But on the other hand, that might be something that they love and respect about Gemini as well. It just feels like everybody's coming out a winner. Baby, no, that's no lie. Is that, oh God, I think that's on, I think it's a dual album, Hot Chocolate and Tavares. It's just, yeah, I think it's Hot Chocolate. Everyone's a winner, baby, that's no lie. It's the same album that has, I Believe in Miracles. You sexy thing, you sexy thing, you. And maybe that's another great song. Love that album. We got Page of Cups in the reverse. Sorry, guys, my lungs are a little bit bothered by all the smoke in the forest fires and everything lately. So forgive me that I'm got a little twinge of asthma. Not bad, but Page of Cups in the reverse. Look, I don't think that bowing and apologizing comes easy to Gemini or this person. Not because they don't want to apologize, but maybe because it's like, but this is kind of who I am. Look, I don't think Gemini is going to alter too much of who they are any more than this other person is. But I also get this vibe off of this storyline that two people are actually coming around to like fully accepting some of your personality traits that is who you are. Look, let me use my dog, not to imply that people are dogs, but my blue heeler, look, I know blue heelers well. I was raised with them. So they are the most headstrong work dogs. They are not a dog that anybody else should get unless you understand the breed, unless you have, property. Like I never want people to go get this breed because you cannot believe how much work these dogs need to do and how much they will rule you with an iron paw. And they will be your best friend and your protector, and they will bond only to you, but they will also run the household because they always think that it is their duty. They will make sure that when you're a kid that you can't take a bath. Matilda used to haul me out of the bath as a kid. I couldn't take a bath. I remember crying to my mom, could you please lock her out of the bathroom? And she would still find a way to get in and rip us out of the tub. We couldn't play basketball. We couldn't ride bikes. Matilda would pull us off of our bikes because we were little cows that were supposed to go at a certain pace, and she set the pace for us, and she had to protect us with her life to save ours. Those are blue heeler traits. You're not going to take that away. But you know what? Best dog in the world if you understand what you're working with and you understand, control freaks for sure, but so loving, so amazing. But you have to take the good with the bad because that's what they are. That's the best way I could describe maybe. And keep in mind, I nuts about blue heelers. I love this breed more than anything because they are so ferociously independent, but they also love you. And I feel like that maybe is the best analogy I could make for what I see in these two characters. They're not going to change their personalities for one another, but they love each other ferociously. And I kind of think this is the breakthrough where it's like, yeah, you don't have to apologize for being who and what you are. I know you don't mean to be overbearing, just like I don't mean to be too willful and so independent that I'm going to still march off and do my own thing sometimes. But you have to accept me because I'm not changing. But I'm also not going to ask you to change. I think we're at a point for this duo that we're seeing during this retrograde where this is the recognition, neither one of us is probably going to change too much. But if there's love here, and if we're even finding a way to be kind of like proud that's, I get you and you get me, and we're not trying to force each other to live on our knees and beg forgiveness and, harness each other and force each other into boxes that we don't belong in. Instead, I accept you as you are. This could be a really great relationship. And it's, again, these two people are reaching this point where it's like, yeah, it's all right. In fact, this marriage could work. We got the Hierophant. This is a huge, opening of the crown chakra. I accept you as you are. And to really be accepted for, the quirks. I mean, certainly this could be both of these characters because they know that the other one really understands me and you're not trying to change me. That might make them more willing to adapt at least a bit here and there for a partner, or to make sure that their, headstrongness and maybe some of their overbearingness doesn't ever cross the line where they, are trespassing on each other too much. I feel like these two, they will never have a perfectly smooth anything, but I think it'll be as perfectly smooth as two amazing individuals who are unique and independent souls who are choosing to be together. I think it's going to be the best relationship that these two could ever find for each other, is what it actually says. So it's, this retrograde is like coming around full circle and looking at the reality. Who am I? Who are you? And do I actually appreciate what you are? The good, the bad, the quirks, your personality. Can I accept you and not try to change you? Can you do the same for me? The answer in this storyline is, yeah, this actually really works. And I kind of think that these two, I don't think these people are hard to love. I don't think there's anything that's like, oh gosh, I've got to acquiesce to somebody who's just going to be a nightmare to be around. No, I think that just like I described my blue healer and the blue healer breed, if you understand them, and if you're not too much of a control freak yourself, and if you give them jobs, and if you kind of make them the center of your world, because they're definitely going to make you the center of their world, it can work beautifully. But you do have to know what you're getting into, and you got to not expect them to be a poodle because they're not, and not expect them to be a Labrador because they're not. So know what you're asking for. Know if that's not what you want, then go get a different breed. Same thing. If Gemini wants somebody who's less powerful, less passionate, then go get somebody else. If they want somebody less independent, then go get somebody else, because that's not going to be Gemini. And I just feel like this is what they both realize. No, I want you and everything that comes with you. Kind of a sweet message. And I think so refreshing to see two characters that are like, you don't got to tell me that you're sorry for being the way you're made. I accept you. And I really think that this is two people saying that's what it's going to take. So if I want you, and I do, I take you as you are. Terrific message for characters that are, I would just say, two characters that are not control freaks. I think that this is two characters that understand every person has a right to be what they are. And if we can see the beauty in them, and we know that they mean us no harm, even if we're going to clash sometimes, but we'll love them even while we're clashing because we wouldn't pick somebody other than them, then this could work. Message from the universe is Hanged Man. Really contemplate long and hard. Understand, again, this will not be roses and fairies. This will be real life with a character that will test, Gemini, and Gemini will test them and their patience. They will always have to see things through a different lens than our own lens, because they will both operate slightly differently. But it doesn't mean that they have to clash like titans all the time. It just means you'll make me see the world through a different viewpoint other than my own. And that could be a wonderful thing, but it will require like some patience to see things from one another's point of view. Because I don't think Gemini and this character see things in the same way. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing at all. In fact, it could teach one another immeasurable patience and different world perspective. These two, man, if the love is that big, I think these two could like grow so much with each other. I kind of dig this one. You guys, so good to see everybody. Takoria Burt, Slave Princess, Stephanie D, Knuckle Up, love your name. Angelina Davina, hi babe, how are you? NH, hey, Voyager 2, Temi Secord, Geminis, Sandy, thanks again, love. And La Unique One, thank you for being here. All right, you guys, I'm going to bounce out of here. We're going to go to Scorpio and then still Ophiuchus. I wanted to make sure that every single zodiac gets one today. And so those are the last two. If you're looking for any of the other zodiacs, they've all already been done. And Gemini, I got to thank you guys so much. I don't have a lot of Gemini watchers, but I have to say, in the last Gemini video I posted, you guys, I think, gave more thumbs up, like more interaction for a smaller watch group than bigger watch groups. And I have to thank you guys so much. So next week, I intend to get you guys 3 videos as my way of saying thank you so much. Like, I can't tell you how heartwarmed I am that the smaller watch group actually is like more supportive and interactive. And so I just wanted to make sure that I thank you guys properly and let you know I noticed that. So thank you very much. All right, you guys, I'll see you again. Geminis, thank you, love. All right, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.